Miami Beach Botanical Garden. The Miami Beach Garden Club is 92 years old. They actually created this garden. In 1926, before hurricanes were even named, a big hurricane came through here and destroyed Miami Beach. In 1927, the women from the garden club passed out seedlings in Dixie cups to replant Miami Beach. It was called the Dixie Cup Campaign. Those are the trees we see today. When the convention center opened in 1957, this was just a vacant lot. The women from the garden club came to the rescue again and lobbied City Hall to have this turned into a garden. It opened in 1962 with 4.5 acres. It was called the Garden Center and has always been free to the public. It operated many years as the Garden Center. Hurricane Andrew came through in '92 and destroyed the garden. There was talk about closing the garden altogether. People lost interest in it. So in '96, a group of concerned citizens formed the Conservancy. They went to City Hall and formed a public-private relationship with City Hall to restore the garden and run the garden on a yearly basis. We actually rent the garden from the city. At that time, it's renamed the Miami Beach Botanical Garden. Now it opened with 4.5 acres. In 1990, they took 2 acres away to create the Holocaust Memorial. The garden was cut in half. It needed to be redesigned, so they hired renowned landscape architect Raymond Jungles. His name is Jungles, he's from Nebraska. He moved 85% of all the trees. Because the garden is so small, he created an illusion to make it look larger. He moved the trees, he opened it up to create the largest sight line. Diagonally across the property, he created this large lawn. Now you look all the way back to the canal. On this side, he did a winding pathway to create the illusion of depth. It makes it look larger than it is. We can have several events going on at one time. That's all thanks to Raymond Jungles. Now before Raymond Jungles, he created this large entrance. This was a wooded area. You couldn't see that. This is a silk floss tree. This is native Argentina and Paraguay. The trunk is green. It photosynthesizes just like a leaf. And on this side, we have a spectacular new. We've made a lot of improvements. This is a dark area. They've added a lot of lighting. We have a new staghorn fern right here. It took a team of men to hoist it up and attach it in place. They wanted $3,000 for it. Our director got it for $500. That's why she's the director. Now on each side of the entrance is a live oak tree. This is state tree of Georgia. There's one here that's on the inside. It's a state tree of Georgia. It's one of the few hardwoods that survive this climate. I just want to know, we're going to see the state flower, sort of. We're going to see the state palm tree and the state butterfly. Now the state flower is actually an orange blossom. We don't have orange trees here because they're prone to disease, and we have an iguana problem. But let me show you the state wildflower. We do have that. This is the Gaylordia, or Indian blanket. Okay, now let's go into the garden. Oh, you see this? This is peanut grass. It's just like real peanut. After it's pollinated, it goes underground and forms a peanut underground. It's an excellent ground cover. You see it all over the beach. Now we had since the hurricane 2.5 years ago, Hurricane Irma came through. 20 trees fell down. We had to upright them. We raised $80,000 to upright the trees. This is one of the kapok tree. Now the kapok tree, native in Central America, it always grows above the canopy to become the tallest. It's always the tallest tree in the forest. Now it fell down. It's like the top 2/3 is cut off. Now what's special about it is that, well, also this is related to the silk floss tree. The trunk is green. It also photosynthesizes just like a leaf. But during the year, you see that the bean pods produces this bean pod, and then you crack it open, and this is what it's like cotton stuffing. They use this to stuff pillows and mattresses before they had synthetic fibers. Hello, this is the Japanese garden, stop number 2. We are the sister city to Fujisawa, Japan. Japanese plants won't survive this climate, so we've chosen tropical plants that have an Asian look and feel to it. You're going to see a really crooked tree. It looks like a Japanese painting. It's actually from Central America. I'll tell you about that. Oh, it's a tradition in Japan. Before we enter, we're going to count to 3 and clap our hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's go. See, the Japanese garden represents all of nature in miniaturized form. This is actually our bamboo collection. Over here, the black bamboo. It symbolizes strength and persistence. I'm going to show you the crooked tree. Over here is the golden trumpet tree. It has a beautiful yellow flower that blooms in the springtime. It's from Central America. We didn't do anything to it. This is the way it grows. And so it's perfect for the Japanese garden. It looks like a Japanese painting. Also, the rough bark is good for securing air plants. Now, the red bridge symbolizes the journey one takes to enlightenment. We do a ceremony. They have Cub Scouts on this side. They cross the bridge to become Boy Scouts. They do it for Girl Scouts too. The red on the bridge symbolizes prosperity. Now, the water symbolizes purification, refreshment, and permanent impermanence. So it's always moving, but never the same. We're going to cross the bridge. Oh, look, it's blooming. This is spectacular. You see the red powder puff? This is the red powder puff tree. And it's starting to bloom now. It's going to be spectacular. This is holly. Now, since the Hurricane Irma 2.5 years ago, we've added 1,000 new plants. This is one of them. It's called valley bamboo. It's growing very quickly. It's considered the most beautiful of all bamboos. This is the spiny black olive. And you see how intricate the leaves are in the branches. They use this for bonsai. I'm going to show you another beautiful bamboo right over here. This is Wammen. It's from Burma. It has the knobs. It's really spectacular. Now we're in the Pine Rockland Demonstration Garden. This is what South Florida looked like before the development. But there's only 2% left. It's slash pine, and it really likes the fires because the pine cones open up and spread the seeds. It's coral rock, lead limestone, and there's a tallow butterfly. There's one right here. It was thought to be endangered. I'll tell you more about that later, but we have hundreds now. This is stop number 3, the native garden. All of this is a native florist. It's a native garden in Florida. I'm going to show you a special tree over here. This is the Lignum vitae. This is a native of Florida Keys. It's the hardest and densest wood in the entire world. It's so hard, they used it to make ball bearings and engine parts, and because it's naturally oily, it's good for that purpose. It's been hunted almost to extinction. It is in danger right now. And in the garden here, we have 10 different varieties of air plants. And we have 3 varieties of butterflies in the garden. We should see the monarch butterfly, a yellow and black striped zebra heliconian, the state butterfly of Florida, and we also have the Italo butterfly. Hello, welcome back to the Miami Beach Botanical Garden. It's Gaylord again. I'm going to talk about the ylang ylang tree. This is native of Indonesia. It has a beautiful yellow flower that blooms on different branches year-round. It's called a perfume tree because they use the oil from the flower to make Chanel No. 5 fragrance. Oh, I love it. Hello again. I'm going to tell you about the wetland garden. 100 years ago, Miami Beach was a narrow barrier island with a concave center and mangrove swamps. Early pioneers filled in the island. Mangroves gave way to soil, sand, and tourism. This is red mangrove. The roots, now trees cannot live in salt water. The roots filter out 99% of the salt water. This grows along the seashore. It creates an excellent habitat for fish. It holds back, it protects the land from hurricanes. It also builds land. It's illegal to cut these down any longer. I can't think of many that are left. And now I'm going to talk about the water features. This garden was redesigned in 2011 by landscape architect Raymond Jungles. He moved 85% of all of the trees. At that point, it was only 2.5 acres. To make it look larger, he built this huge water feature to reflect the sky and the plants to make it look larger. It also cools the office area. This is the koi pond. Koi lived 226 years. That's the record. Now our koi, 2.5 years ago, the Hurricane Irma came through, 300 koi went to heaven, but new ones have been donated to us. This is the turtle pond. There are two types of turtles, the soft-shell turtle and the native musk turtle. The tree leaning over the pond, that's a palmetto palm, the state palm tree of Florida. Over here, this is the ponytail palm. It's not a palm at all. It's actually a succulent. It's related to the cactus that grows in Mexico. The bulbous base stores water. Oh, I see a turtle. There's a turtle here. People actually bring their turtles from home. They get permission to introduce them to the turtle pond, and they come back and visit the turtles on Saturday afternoon. And they can recognize their own turtles. Now this garden opened in 1962. Morris Lapidus is a famous architect. He designed this fountain, he designed the Eden Rock Hotel, the Fontainebleau Hotel, and he pedestrianized Lincoln Road in 1960, the first outdoor mall in the country. Oh, he was a bow tie guy. If you've ever been to the Fontainebleau Hotel, on the marble floor is bow ties. It was his signature. Now this rock, this lytic limestone, you know what it's coral rock, it's very porous. It holds water just like a sponge. And that's why we don't have basements in South Florida. It also gives us very distinctive architecture. All of the high-rise, the hotels, condominiums, are sitting on 13-story pedestals, which are the parking garages, because we don't have any underground parking here. So this is stop number 7, the vanilla orchid. This is where we get vanilla extract. It has a beautiful yellow flower that blooms only one day, and then it dies. So it has only one day to become pollinated. If it's pollinated, it produces only one bean pod. That's why it's the most expensive spice outside of saffron. We don't have the bee in this area to pollinate it. It would have to be hand pollinated. Although it grows in North and South America, most of it comes from Madagascar today. I'm going to show you a special palm. This is the zombie palm from Haiti. I speak Haitian Creole. Now you see the sharp needles right here? Now in the movies, they use it to stick in the voodoo doll, but in real life, they don't do that. They're putting messages to the deity, to the Loa, and they say hallelujah in voodoo, which is aye bobo. I'm going to show you a special tree now. Where are we going? This is the rainbow eucalyptus. It looks like a rainbow. It comes from the Philippines. It's the only eucalyptus native to the northern hemisphere. The beautiful colors are caused by the oils that come to the surface and oxidize. It actually changes colors. It looks beautiful after it's wet, after the rainstorm. This is stop number 8, our Copernicea corner. There are 2,500 palm tree species in the world. We have 100 right here in these 3 acres. I want to show you a special palm, the Bailey palm. What's interesting about it, it's very slow growing. When it's young, it has a rough brown bark. As it matures, it looks like poured concrete. And over here, this is the giant Yeri palm, native of Cuba. It's highly endangered. There's only 100 left in Cuba. He was really badly battered in a hurricane 2.5 years ago, but it's recovering beautifully. Another palm from Cuba is carnauba. This is where we get carnauba wax. It's from Cuba. It's grown for the wax. The wax is on top of the palm frond. You scrape with your fingernail to get the wax. And then when this garden opened in 1962, it was called the Garden Center. This is the original sign. I don't know if you can see it. That's the original sign. Now this is our nursery. We use it to grow our plants, but it's also a commercial nursery. In Miami Beach, there are only 2 nurseries, one on Alton Road and this one also. We can get anything from around the world. It's all natural. So everything is priced for the customer. This is stop number 9, the Canal and Edible Garden. This is Cuban oregano. I'm going to show you my favorite tree in the whole world. This is cacao. This is chocolate. And this is also another one. If you want coffee with your chocolate, right over here, that's coffee. And if you want some pineapple, let's go see. This is pineapple. It's a bromeliad. Now, Madame Escoffier is a culinary institute. They planted this garden for us. They sponsor people that want serious careers in catering. It's all edible. Papaya. This is guava here. Lemon bay rum. You rip it open and you smell it. It's really beautiful. Lemongrass. This is beauty berry. It's actually edible. It has a very mild flavor. So that's a tour of the edible garden. This is stop number 10, bananas and heliconium. Heliconium, ginger, and bananas are all related. I want to show you something. Now this is the banana flower. Do you see it? This is called the awning. Under the awning is a male pollen and seed to keep it dry. Above the awning is the female seed, and it produces the fruit. This is a traverse palm. It's a heliconian. It's not a palm. It's a heliconian. It grows to be like 40 feet tall. It's really spectacular. And it holds water. Right in here it holds water, and travelers could drink it, and that's why it's called a traverse palm. Now it's related. It's heliconian. This is ginger from Samoa. You recognize the roots as what we eat, the ginger. Heliconian has interesting common names because of the shape of the flower. Lobster claw, parrot beak, bird of paradise. Now this isn't actually a flower. The flower is hidden under a little red bract. Now hummingbirds are attracted to these odd-shaped flowers. They're one of the few birds or animals physically capable of pollinating them. This is stop number 11, the sea grape tree. This was a golf course 100 years ago. We have 2 trees that I'm going to show you over 100 years old. This is a sea grape. The roots filter out 99% of the salt water. You see it along the seashore. It stabilizes the sand dunes. We have the staghorn fern. It's called sea grape. It produces a bunch of grapes. It looks just like grapes. It's kind of bitter. Early pioneers use it to make sea grape jelly. It attracts birds, but the best thing about the tree is this leaf. You can write a letter on the leaf, put a stamp on it, and mail it. It's called a postcard tree. There are free postcards on the ground. Ooh, airmail! This is the banyan tree. It's over 100 years old. It's a weeping fig. Ficus is Latin for fig. It's from India. It sends down aerial roots and becomes a forest of trees. The largest one in the world is in India. It's 5 acres. Now, the roots go horizontally, and they undermine the foundations of houses. They come up through toilets and septic tanks, so they're very invasive, and it's illegal to plant them in Dade County. It's called banyan because in one of the Indian languages, banyan means marketplace. So the merchants that would gather under the shade of the tree became known as banyans. It's actually a nickname. This is stop number 13, the Gumbo Limbo tree. This is native to Florida. It's very fast growing. They used it for reforestation. You see the red flaky bark? It looks like a sunburned tourist. That's why it's called the tourist tree. They use the leaves for remedy. You can boil the leaves for remedy for gout. They use the resin for incense and varnish and glue. That concludes our virtual tour of the garden. I hope you enjoyed it.